Okay, this is Baretruth, and I am live with Make It Make. And I'm going to wait a few minutes for other people to come in chat. There we go. We just went live on regular. So, how is the weather up in your area today?
It is incredibly hot. I've got the blinds closed. I've got the curtains closed. It's just, it's hot. It's just the way that it is. So hot and canning outside. Literally, I've got my canner going on my Camp Chef, and I've got my timer on here.
Well, I know this morning I opened up the door, felt how hot it was, and come back inside and closed it.
Yeah, I am ready for the fall. I'm not a summer person, but that's okay. I know some people love it. They love it. They thrive in it. I love winter. I love fall. I think I love those seasons because I feel like it gives me permission to just hunker down and rest.
Yeah, me, I cannot stand summer. I prefer either spring or fall. Hello, Jim. Hello, Heroic. See, I got your name right. Miss Lisa Anderson.
Okay, I see. Hello.
Okay. A while back ago, you asked a question how to do live chat and top chat. Okay, on the right above your chat room, if you'll see where your X is, to the left of it, you'll see three little lines. If you'll tap it, a drop down would show up, and it'll say top chat, live chat. Just tap the live chat.
All it says is the three little dots.
Yes, tap it.
It says remove stream, edit name, audit avatar, and stop mic.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to get with you a little later on. But
I could edit my name. Do you want me to edit my name to Make It Make instead of Skipper?
With your channel, because I also want to give you extra viewers.
There you go.
Prescribe.
Okay, thank you.
Also.
Thank you.
Okay, for my mods, please, anybody coming up in here who is using bad language or whatever, warn them one time. If they persist, keep them out of chat, please. And this includes myself. If you have to, put me in timeout. But I'm also going to keep it as clean as I possibly can. I want this to be, let's say, a family show, so to say.
Right.
And Tina, did you subscribe to Make It Make, or did you subscribe to my channel? So I think you've got another subscriber by chance.
Oh, and guys, please do not feel like you have to subscribe. Honestly, you really don't have to.
Okay. This segment or episode, we're going to be doing Canon, so forth. I asked that question, I think it was 2-3 weeks ago. And everybody said they wanted me to do a Canon segment. So I reached out to one of the best on YouTube. She accepted. Now here she is. Miss Make It Make.
The best. You over compliment me. But I would love to answer any questions that you guys I'll do my best. If I don't know something, I will say that I don't know it. But I am so glad that I'm here to help. And thank you so much for having me.
It is no problem at all. What is one of your canning specialties? I mean, what do you like to can more than anything?
Um, Honestly, I love canning meat. I love canning venison. The reason why I like doing it is because it's fast, it's easy. It took me a long time just to get to the point where I could can meat because a lot of people, um, they they think it's gross. For some reason, this like it's like mental dis- disgust, and they just can't seem to get past canned meat. But so for me to get there was huge, and I love it because it's quick, it's easy to can, and if you're running around with kids or you're working full time and you've got family coming and they want a good hearty meal, then all they have to do is pour out that meat in a crock pot, put some potatoes in there, put some green beans on the side. You can just make a pot roast like that. You can have it in 20 minutes, warming it up and making a roux for it. So that's probably one of my favorite things. Do you want to see what a jar of canned meat looks like?
Let's see it.
All right, hold on. Let me
Okay.
get it.
And Kim, to answer your question, yes.
Okay.
There
we go.
I'm not exactly sure how to do a close up on that.
I'll try. So this is what canned meat looks like. And if you look at it, you see that there's a layer of fat. That's okay if you have that in your jar. And also if you look at the very top, let's see if I could turn it where you guys can see it better. You can see that the meat is not fully covered with the liquid, and that's completely fine. It was canned up well, and it has a really good seal. And so that's fine. So if you can meat and you have some at the top, it's completely fine. Don't worry about it. And honestly, I take this, I throw it in the crock pot. The fat melts back down, and I make a roux and I serve it to my family with potatoes and carrots and things like that. It took my husband forever to eat canned meat.
Okay, Rose Young asked a question. Do you water bath or do you pressure can meat?
So for this one here, I have pressure canned it. I've never water bathed the canned meat yet. I will be. I've water bathed a lot of things that are low acid. I have done that, but that's just my personal choice. I know that it's not something that's USDA recommended, because I will say that like canning meat in water and low acid foods is not USDA recommended. But I've done it. I've grown up around Amish and Mennonite country, so it's something that I feel comes from a trustworthy source, and that's why I feel comfortable with it. But I know a lot of people who water bath their meat.
Okay. To help me out, if y'all got any questions, can you please uppercase everything, and that way I can try to catch everybody. And Kim says she was very impressed with that interview. That was very respectful, and she took a lot of notes from that.
Was it from the Amish interview? That's what I'm assuming that's what it was. Oops. Give me 1 second. I will answer that question. I'm just going to go turn off my canner because I actually am in the process of canning something right now. So just give me 1 second here. 1 second.
Okay. But I'll wait till she gets back. But like I said in the beginning, I want to try to keep this stream going and to be very respectful. And that means myself. So, she is the lady who done the Amish Canon. I watched all three of them, and I was impressed with what she done.
I am so sorry.
No, don't be.
All right, so I think I will answer that question. Did you find out if it was the Amish interview?
Yes, it was, because if I back it up, the chat up, let me she want to know, are you the lady I watched that had the interview with the Amish people and the way they can't?
Yes, and thank you. It took me about 2 years to be able to get to that point where I felt comfortable in talking to Susie and getting that interview. I first got hooked up with Susie through a word of mouth. It's kind of how the Amish work. And I needed corn 1 year, and my friend said I have an Amish friend. And then through that relationship, I just got to know her every year throughout the years. And the communication I have with her is through phone. Whenever she can call me, because usually it's like I call her and their phone is in the outside, like it's in a phone house. So when she calls, I take the call, like everything stops, because it's not like I can call her back and she's going to run and get the phone unless she's literally in the phone house. So it took some time, finally got the nerve to ask her after trust had been established with her. And honestly, she was so welcoming. I had never been in an Amish home before, and she let me in her home with her children. And we sat down for almost 3 hours to have this interview. And it worked out really, really well. It was just an absolute pleasure and honor. And we discussed a lot of things. And even within that conversation, we eventually got, talked about other things that she was curious about, because I guess they don't have the internet. So she asked me a couple things and wanted to know what was going on with certain stuff. So yeah, I was like, oh, okay. So it was a wonderful conversation. So thank you.
Okay. And there is another question that was asked by Chef Kicker.
Okay.
She is an awesome mod, by the way.
Okay.
The only meat she has not canned is bacon. And the way she put it, can you can back?
Can you can bacon?
Yes. Okay.
Gosh, I mean, I'm pretty sure that you can, because it's meat. I've never seen a recipe for it, but I've seen many people do it. I've never personally have done it myself.
I have not.
See why not? I don't see why not. It's a meat. I'm so sorry. I could be more of help to that.
Rose,
I have something here in my recipe. You can ask the next question. I can do two things.
Okay. Rose Young asked, I have water bath, canned milk, and meat. And I saw one of your videos where you said what you will not can again. And I got back with you in an email, and it was potatoes. You said, okay. And I mentioned to you, I have dry canned potatoes. This right here is my potatoes, and they're dry canned.
Okay.
The only liquid that is in there, I don't know if you can see it or not, toward the top right there. That's what was in the potatoes. And I had mentioned about the starch in it. Well, if you'll look right up here, the bottom of the jar, that ain't nothing but starch up in there.
Yeah.
So therefore, you've got your choice whether to take the starch out or to leave them in there. Me, if I take the starch out of it, It does not bother me whatsoever. And if I leave starch in it, it's like it bothers me a little bit. And I got that recipe from the website New and Old.
Okay.
And I'm not exactly sure what the canning time was. I want to say it was 25 minutes.
Okay.
Now, remind you, they are not done. You still going to have to cook them a little bit, but they are to the point. If you want to, you can pop the top and eat them like that. They're going to be a little bit hard, but they are cooked.
Mm-hmm.
So there you can fry them up. You can do whatever you want, mash them up or whatever. But give that recipe a try before you disregard it.
Oh, but I don't know if have you been following what I've been doing, because let me show you.
Okay.
These are my potatoes.
Okay. Now they look good.
Huh?
They look good.
They are amazing. I actually have a video on this. These are called Susie's potatoes, from the Amish woman. I am going to tell you guys, because I say it just because I have to. It's considered non-USDA approved because this is a low acid food, and I did this through a water bath.
Okay.
Okay. And I know that you can obviously pressure can them as well, but I pressure canned my last, you can see the video on it, potatoes. I did not like them. I tasted terrible. But when I did them this way, for me, it worked out beautifully. That's exactly what I had canning in the canner. As I went up to leave for a second, I had more potatoes to do. So they came out wonderful. I did have to add vinegar to them. No, I do not taste the vinegar in them. But they are lovely. And they turned out great.
So they taste better than they look, correct?
They taste amazing. Actually, I have a video where I'm tasting them for the very first time. And it's like a baked potato. Like a baked potato, you just cut, and it's just the consistency is like a baked potato. It's wonderful.
I am going to have to go into your channel and find that recipe. I got to try it.
I love it. Again, like I always tell people, do what you feel is safe what you feel is safe for your kitchen, your rules. That's what I always tell people. But for me, this was an amazing alternative to the other way that I canned my potatoes.
Well, it's kind of like I said earlier, every mother is going to do the best that they can, like that. They're not going to intentionally, excuse me, harm their family.
Right.
And like you said, your kitchen, your rules.
Mm-hmm. I mean, what I try to tell people is this, it always seems like there's this like war between, strict USDA canners and, people who are really about the original way, old school canning. They call it rebel canning, but I hate to call it that. I like to call it original canning. I always tell people, you know what? Do your research. Do your research for yourself. And I try to respect both sides, because I never, ever want anybody to do something that they don't feel safe with. And there's always like this umbrella of safety that you have to cover yourself with. So then do the research to make yourself feel safe under that type of umbrella. And with that, and also canning's a journey. Canning is, when I first started canning, I was the most strict USDA canner ever. I mean, I was like, no, you cannot this, you cannot that. And then, slowly, as my Mennonite friend who taught me, she would do certain things. I'm like, well, how is it? How can they do this and still be living. And, you know, they're not playing Russian roulette, because if that were the case, there would be a certain percentage of people constantly dying of botulism. And for me, that's when I started asking the questions. And that's when I started, you know, a different path of my journey. Now, some people don't do that. That's completely fine. Some people are completely okay with it, with just sort of sticking by the books and the rules with that. And that's okay. But for me, I just kind of shifted on a different path. Are you okay with your cough?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Okay.
It's a smoker's cough.
Okay.
I want to say hello to Dig Deeper Ministries. He is in the room.
Hello.
And Bushcraft is also in the room.
Okay. Hello. Hello to everyone.
Let's see. Okay, Tina P says, I am totally new to this. Do you can with a machine or by hand?
Okay, so the first thing I want to say is that if you are someone who is a brand new canner, if you have never canned before, I always recommend starting off by USDA standards. The reason why I tell people this, it's not because I don't believe in the old traditional methods. Believe me, I do them myself. It's just because I encourage people to always develop their skill sets. And there's always like fear that's associated with it. So developing skill sets and lowering your fear by doing these recipes. Sorry, I'm just kind of by, you know, the regular standard recipes, and also by getting a book. This is a great book. I will put it up here. It's called Ball Complete Book of Home Preserving. And the reason why I recommend this book is because it's kind of one of those books that sort of holds your hand and lets you know how to start canning, what tools to use, and you would use it through a water bath and a pressure canner. I would start off by water bathing your jars, and water bath just means that you have your jars filled with your food and the contents in it, whether it be water or juices, and you submerge the jar completely in your canner, which is basically a canner is a glorified stock pot, and you process it. Processing means the boiling time for however long the recipe says. And this book has a wonderful guide to canning and has wonderful pictorials for you and takes you step by step on how to do the process. It also has a problem solver in here as well. And it has, let me see, a glossary if you're not familiar with the verbiage of canning. I hope that answers your question.
I got that book, and I also got another book that you have, Amish Canon.
That is a wonderful book. I have, I don't know if I have that here. I think that may be upstairs. I tried to grab all my books. I do have it. The Amish Canning Cookbook.
Yes.
Now, this book, I would say it's more for the advanced canner, because this doesn't have like the directions or references on where to go to if you don't understand something. Whereas this book, where when you're canning with the ball book and you're still kind of new, it'll say, hey, raw pack this. And it'll say, to understand what raw pack is, refer to page like 99 or something. This book doesn't do that. This book is a wonderful book. It's heavy on the meats, which is great, soups and things like that. And it is great for just opening it up, having the recipe, the directions, and that's it. It's a wonderful book. So I like that one as well.
Okay. Garden Lady also asked, is it okay to can soup with rotini, with noodles in it? I got my own rule about that, but you go ahead.
All right. So I'll give you two answers to that. Okay. So I'm the type of teacher that likes to give everybody sort of like I give out all the options, and then I allow you guys to make the decision, because you're adults. And again, your kitchen, your rules. So according to the USDA, no, You cannot do that. It is considered unsafe. Okay. Now, are there people out there who do it? Yes, there are. And again, that's where I tell people to do their own research and find out for yourselves. And if you feel safe with it, then go ahead and do it. I know for me, I'm currently working on spaghetti soup. I've been back and forth talking to Susie, my Amish friend, on how she does it. And I have been working on that with spaghetti noodles in it. So I have not done it yet. Again, I'm still asking a lot of questions, kind of going back and forth with her on what she does, and just going like that.
Now, wait a minute. Where did she go? Okay, Tina P, you said you will get the book. I got it off of Amazon. The Ball Cookbook. Well, I got all my books off of Amazon.
Yeah, and if you go to my channel, and you don't have to use my link, but all the books I recommend on my channel is in the description on my videos, and you could check them out there, which ones that I recommend. There's a lot of books on there.
I'm going to ask another question for my mods right here. If it's possible, can you drop Make It Makes link in chat, please?
Oh, thank you. You didn't have to. Thank you.
Well, I mean, but I'm kind of new at this right here, and there's a bunch of stuff I don't know how to do.
Well, that's okay.
Enlarge or to drop links. But there are mods in here that can do it. And I'm just asking, Let me put this one up. I don't know if that'll be a mistake or not. Can you read that?
Yes. On another site, we were talking about this subject. People from other countries were saying they always water bath can. A lady from Journey said it's the Americans who pressure can. Yes. Well, also, there are countries that it's not that some of them just aren't allowed to have pressure canners. They don't really, they're not allowed to have them there. But yes, they do pressure can. I mean, they do water bath can everything. And, here we do have those people here. We have those communities here where people in the United States are water bathing pretty much everything. And that's why I made the video about the Amish, because there is a community right there. The one that I'm close to, I know there's several different kinds of Amish communities. But for the one that I am talking with and associated with, they water bath the majority of their food.
Garden Lady, as being one of the newest canners up here, for the first 2-3 times, you're going to be scared to death to can for the first time.
That's why I said, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But after you get, I'm going to say your third one up underneath your belt, it's going to be like, what can I can next?
Exactly.
How can I do this?
Yeah.
And I will be the first one to say, before you can anything, please research it. Mm-hmm. If you have to, go to YouTube channels, find out how they're doing it, how long they do it for, and the timing is the most critical. If it says leave it in there, not pressure can it for 90 minutes, do it for 90 minutes. Don't do it for 80 minutes or something like that. There is a reason for that time.
And I always tell people, again, like if you're brand new canners, start off because with the USDA standards, just because it helps build skill and confidence. And once you get that confidence, then you'll start going off, like you said, you're going to want to start canning everything. Yeah. And then there will be some people who start asking questions. There was something else you were talking about that I wanted to touch on.
We in trouble. I can't remember.
And it's the end of the day. I've been parenting and adulting all day. I don't know if it's gonna come back. It's gone. Maybe it'll come back. It's gone.
Bushcraft trying to get funny with me here. He's asking me a question. I done a while back ago. I done jalapeno jam. The first time I ever done it, and it come out like a cinder block.
Really?
What had happened is I put way too much pectin in it. I put the whole box in there. I went back and looked through the video and so forth. I wasn't supposed to use but 1.5 tablespoons. And on another channel, I sat there with a fork or a spoon and a hammer, and I tried to beat that spoon into it. It went in about 1/8 of an inch.
Oh my goodness.
So, I
remember what I was going to say. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
It just came back to me. So before I forget it, I was telling people, you were talking about the timing and how important that was, especially, when you are starting your timing with a water bath. I always tell people don't start your timing at a simmer. Don't start it at a chatter. Start it at a rolling boil, a full rolling boil. That is when you start your timing for that. I always tell them, not a simmer, not a chatter, a rolling boil.
Okay. Can you explain to the new people what a rolling boil is?
You see the water just like bubbling over on top of the jars. It'll be a boil that looks like you just cannot stir it down. It's like a vigorous rolling boil. When it gets to that point, that's when I start my time.
Okay. Because it took me a while to understand what a boil and a rolling boil meant.
Yeah.
Somebody explained it. But
no problem.
Now, I also found out a hard boil, okay, and a rolling boil, same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I also found out something else. Back in, I'm gonna go far back as the 1800s. They didn't have pectin back then. What they done is they took, I'm going to use green apples, okay? They saved the peelings. They grounded it down and everything, and that's what they use for pectin. You can also use that too, put it in a dehydrator. Once it gets dried out, grind it down to where it's powder, and you can use that as pectin. And, I mean, like I said, you've got to do research. And every time you do research from one person to another, you will learn something new.
Oh, for sure.
Each time.
Yes, for sure.
I may do something that make don't do, and vice versa. But if I watch enough of her videos, which I guarantee you, she does something that I don't do, and I'll try it. It may be better than mine, but her taste buds, my taste buds are different. Like, yeah. And Chef Kicker and Lisa Anderson has both dropped your link, which I thank them much for that.
Thank you. I have a question for the woman who said she water bathed her milk. I'm actually in the process of making a video on that, and I'm interested in wanting to know what your timing is and what you use your milk for water bath. If she's still on here,
I'm hoping she is. Hello, Bluegrass Sweetheart. She's another lady that does Canon and Ark Wildman. And congratulations, he got, he is a minister, I believe, for Arkansas now. We finally got his license.
Oh, congratulations. Yes, but I am in the process of working on that, because I know the USDA it's major restrictions on canning milk, but I am on that journey myself and learning how to do that. I've talked to a couple dairy farmers, a couple of people who have been doing it. So it's always nice. And here's the thing, when you do your own research, you get to know people, you get to know their stories behind it. It's a cultural thing for people, and it's a family thing. There's so many memories connected with canning. I can't tell you the stories that people send me, that is just, it's almost tear jerking of how the memories that they've had with canning with family members. It's just such a sweet thing. It's more than just putting up food in the pantry. It's a lot more than that.
Rose Young said it's 3 hours.
Oh, 3 hours. Okay.
And Bushcraft also has got a question. What is the hardest thing to can for you?
Let me think about this for a moment. I don't know. I would probably say corn. I don't like canned corn, but I would probably say that just because the end result all depends on the type of corn that you have because of the sugars that are in corn. So I would say that would be it. Other than that, I enjoy that. I could say what I don't enjoy. I don't enjoy canning peaches. I feel like that is just such a daunting task. Anytime a friend asks me to help them can peaches, I reluctantly say yes, just because I despise the blanching process. But I find canning to be, for the most part, pretty easy.
Well, two things. The very first thing I ever canned was corn.
Really?
And, yeah. And
going straight for it.
Well, I went old school. I got the corn on the cob, and I done it. I cut it off the whole 9 yards and did what I was supposed to. It looked good. Then I got to thinking, can you can frozen foods? And just in case your power goes out, let's say for about a week or whatever, everything in your freezer is going to go bad. So therefore, if you can it, my opinion is you ain't got to worry about the power going out to spoil everything. So I done that. The peaches, I threw every one of them away because they look nasty. And I found out there are certain type of peaches that you use when you can. I did not know this.
Yes.
So, and I love peaches. I love fruit, period. So I was ticked off because I had to throw it away. So that's that. We all learn. I mean,
it's a journey.
It is. And you will mess up. You will mess up.
Yeah, it's hard when you don't have anybody to ask questions. That's where my heart really goes out to, is, to people who are just like, how do I get started? What do I do? And, it's hard.
Well, that's about like what we was talking about earlier. When I started, my immediate family is passed on. Okay. My mother died, and then my father passed first, then my mother.
Oh.
And that's when I really wanted to learn how to can.
Really?
There's nobody for me to ask. So therefore I had to turn to YouTube.
Yeah.
100% of my canning comes from YouTube and the ball book.
Yeah.
I want it because I don't want to be sick. I don't want botulism, like
Of course
that.
not.
And then after I got used to canning this and that, then I come up on another site. It was called Rebel Canyon.
Mm-hmm.
Then I saw a few of them. Mostly everybody who Rebel cans were Amish, Mennonites, and our forefathers.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't for our forefathers, we wouldn't be here. They didn't have refrigerators back then or whatever. And before my father did pass, I asked him, how did y'all keep meats? He told me, and it made sense. But like I said, it you learn a lot off of YouTube.
Yeah.
So,
And I understand what you're saying. It's hard for me because, I try to keep my platform, open to both sides of the canning world, open to, the USDA canners, open to the Rebel canners. I try to be as respectful to both worlds because, again, I never want anybody to do something that they feel fearful of their in their kitchen. However, I am in the middle of Pennsylvania. Like, I understand these communities that have been doing it for so long, and they're not uneducated people. It's not like, oh, well, they don't really know. No, these people are not uneducated people. Just because they're not living they're in our world, but just because they're not really living within our society doesn't mean that they don't understand it. They don't know what they're doing. They fully understand. It's working for them. It always has worked for them. And because it's worked, they're not going to change it. So that's where my heart goes, with that.
Yeah. Well, you got a comment from Celestial Prep Supply.
Oh, oh, that's so sweet. Thank you.
But no, Amish and Mennonites, like you said, are very smart people.
Yeah.
We just don't understand. They've got a different way of life than we do. They're much more simpler.
Yes.
And so forth.
For sure. They are very, I mean, it depends which, Amish community you're talking about, but especially where I'm from. And don't get it wrong. Let me not mislead people. There are some Amish communities that do pressure can. I'm not speaking for every single Amish community. It's just that, but there are some that primarily everything they do, they've never even touched a pressure canner. So there still are those communities out there. Oh, and I do want to say that if you decide for yourself that you are going to go down the journey of original canning, of the old traditional ways, I look up a lot of Italian websites, European websites, and how they do their canning. And I just research and read, and I look at what, they're doing and make a decision for myself. Also, I mean, there's an amazing canning group on Facebook. It really is a great group. I know, I mean, I'm in a lot of different canning groups, but if you decide to go down the original canning route, there's like the Rebel Canning Facebook group, and you'd be surprised what those people have been able to do and do it safely, but again, it has to be your own choice.
My number one type of food there is Italian food.
I love Italian food.
Yes, I do. Italian, and then there is Chinese. You know, it's I just want to get out and explore
Okay.
when it comes to that. The number one food, I can't even think of it now. Yeah, and spice wise, it will burn you up. It's worse than Hispanic food.
You mean Mexican food, right?
Right. But this comes from overseas. If you're not used to it, it will two things. I'm sorry, it's going to keep you in the bathroom, and it's going to tear your stomach up.
We were talking about this earlier.
It was, but it's like this. There is some foods I know it's going to hurt me later on, but I'm going to eat it anyway because it tastes good.
Oh, you've got to try canning cowboy candy. That stuff is so good. So
Now,
good.
Bushcraft done one, I think it was yesterday, Cowboy Relish.
Is that similar to cowboy candy? Sorry, I'm reading the comments.
Bushcraft, yeah, Thai food. Bushcraft. Answer her question, please. Is it similar to cowboy candy? The way he talked, it's got the heat in it.
Okay. Because the cowboy candy, candy, so it's like sweet and hot mixed together. Oh, it is so good. It's so good.
Mm-hmm. But have you? I'm trying to figure out how I want to word this.
Okay.
Apple butter. Have you
Okay.
found another recipe for apple butter?
Sadly, I have not. I have not ventured into that yet, just because I'm really starting to get to the point where I know what my family is eating. And even if I did make a successful apple butter at this point, I don't even think that they would eat it. I think I would be just me, eating it. But same way, just made it into a relish. Oh, okay, great. All right. I get that.
I'm going to have to send you my recipe that I do for apple butter.
Mm.
It's this recipe is for small batch.
Okay.
Maybe I'm gonna say what 7-8 pint jars. No, half pints.
I was gonna say pint jars. Okay, half pints. Okay, yeah. Yeah, send that to me.
But
I'll give it a go, because my children, they're the ones that are like, they're into it, they want to eat it, and then now they're tired of it, so they've moved on. It always seems to happen.
When my family knows I'm doing apple butter, or if I'm doing chili beans, it's like they're here. Mm-hmm. I'll do a whole crock pot full of apple butter or chili beans. I don't have enough left to can.
I know. Today I doubled a recipe, and the kids were like, "Oh, are we having that for supper?" And I was like, okay. And then I had like maybe 5 pint jars to can. I was expecting more, but I let them have some for supper too.
There you go. I'll after the stream here, I'll try to look it up and send it to you.
Oh, thank you.
But I mean, like I said, it's simple. I do mine in a crock pot. It's overnight, but I can't say that. It's off the hook. No. You do not want me to do that. I'm trying to keep it clean.
I want you to be yourself. You're my friend, so I love you for who you are.
Well, I thank you for that very much. And talking to you on the telephone, you are a lady of standards.
Oh,
I don't want to violate your standards.
oh, please do not put me on that pedestal.
But
I've lost my religion many times. I'm just telling you.
oh, I lose mine every day.
Repentance is real.
But I know here with YouTube, you got to be careful what you say. And just about everybody in chat is probably amazed that I have kept my composure. I'll put it like that.
Oh my goodness. You don't have to do that.
Well, see,
But
some of the ladies in chat has done threatened to tar and feather me. And at the beginning of the stream, I was told the tar and feather bath is still waiting in case I
oh,
get in.
oh, my cheeks hurt. Oh my goodness.
Oh, but I mean, Canon is really something everybody needs to get into. We need to get back to Canon. We rely too much on the grocery stores.
Mhm.
They are adding additives that our body is rejecting slowly. When a person cans, they determine what type of spices, what type of I don't know if I can say this or not, poison they want to put into their bodies. Me, I want it to be as pure can be. You know, when I taste corn, I want that corn taste. If I do hamburger, which I have canned hamburger, chicken, pork chops. That's what I want it to taste like.
You know, that's one of the things that another one of the things that I love about canning is that, you are the chef. You determine what goes in your food. There are some people, who have a lot of health issues and they want the control of their food. You can control the salt that's in your food. Do I grow what I can? So sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. It depends on how busy I am. And honestly, it depends on how lazy I am too. God forgive me. I'm sorry, but that's just the real answer. Some years I'm up to doing a full on garden. I'm ready to go. And I'm just, ready to dedicate, what it takes to do a garden. And I've been able to successfully can through it. And then other times, I just don't. And what I do is I supplement out, and I thank God, I live in Pennsylvania, so I'm kind of like in the mecca of like fresh produce. And, because I buy from the Amish, the produce stands that are here. It's very common. We've got markets. Sometimes you can go to the market here, and at the end of the day, you can get a box of green beans for $3 because they don't want to take it home. And it's locally grown food, so I'll like scoot in there and do that sometimes. So it depends, but I would say mainly I supplement out because I work part-time, which is YouTube's my part-time job. And I also homeschool, and I'm a stay-at-home wife, and I hold the fork down while my husband's away. So it's a lot of work. So I try to do what I can.
Any stay-home mom or wife has got a job.
Yeah.
Period.
It's work.
And
It's work.
I give it to y'all.
Thank you.
And there is another lady here in chat. Here comes TJ. When I first started Canon, I relied on a lot of her videos also.
Mm-hmm.
That is another lady that who is as sweet and down to earth. And I follow her right much.
Mm-hmm.
And Rose Young also said, think about this. The FDA allows all kinds of chemicals and GMOs to be put in our foods, but yet they want us to follow their rules and how to can safely. And I'm not going to say nothing about that. They get me upset But I am up here with Make It Make. We got a couple more minutes here. If y'all have any questions, please feel free to ask and capitalize them. And Lake Ferry is also in the room. And she is another sweet lady. But me and her, she said it time and time again, if we was next door neighbors, we would have chaos running through the streets.
Oh. Oh, someone said about supporting the locals. Yeah, that's another thing, is that I love to support small businesses, especially now in this day and age where they need our help the most. It is my pleasure to support them.
Well, there's another thing. If you go by local foods, you will pay a little bit more for it. But the way I look at it is this: it don't have a lot of chemicals in it that would be at a grocery store.
I think for me, at least my experience here, you're right. The farmers that I buy from, I always ask, and they are pretty truthful. They'll be like, "Yes, we did spray this time, or we sprayed this," or and some people say, "No, we are fully organic. We don't do any type of sprays, nothing like that." The price, I tell you, it just depends on the farmer. It depends. But I always find that when I buy from a small business, like like at markets, I should say markets, I do find them to be cheaper than I would find it at the store.
Okay. Kim posted, make this a great community of people who have learned fellowship and like-minded and good, solid citizens. People for almost 2.5, going on 3 years now, and we thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot to me. Thank you.
And it has been an hour. And please go to Make It Make, hit the like and subscribe button. This is one awesome lady on Canon. And on that, I'm going to call it. Do you have any last words that you want to say?
I guess just thank you so much I always tell people, thank you for your precious time and just being here. I know everybody has things to do. It really does warm my heart to know that people think I even have something to say. And I'll answer this question, and, just, I guess, God bless you all. How long in the potatoes did I water bath? I water bathed my potatoes for 2 hours. That's what I did.
All right. And
but I just want to say, sorry, it's just because I'm always so careful with people. It is non-USDA approved. But if you want the recipe that I use for my family, I do have that on my video. That way you don't just go ahead and, and you can't just can any potato. Like a russet potato is not going to can very well. And like a golden Yukon, I think that cans pretty well. Like a baking potato, it's not going to can very well for the most part.
Well, today I did a little bit of canning. Okay.
Okay.
I canned tomato soup.
Well, that's certainly easy.
Yes, it is.
Pre-approved.
Okay. I'm going to end it on that note right there. And it is great to have you up here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
On that right there, I'm going to say baretruth out.
Bye.